Am I the a-hole for laughing at my brother while he's going through a bad divorce? My brother is going through a divorce right now. He's been living with my mom and dad, and me and my parents helped him come up with money to get a lawyer. I know it's been a rough time for him. When he met with a lawyer for the first time, he found out that you can't get alimony in a divorce if there was infidelity. As in, the law forbids it and there's no exception. It doesn't matter if you stayed home with your kid for over 20 years like my brother or never worked. My sister-in-law is an architect and she makes bank. My brother thought he would get alimony, but he was dumb enough to cheat on her. He also found out that he is not able to claim any part of the house because she owned it outright before they got married. Both of these he wasn't expecting, and he was obviously upset when he got back from his first visit with a lawyer. When he told me that the law will deny him alimony, I laughed, and my parents chewed me out over it. It probably was the wrong reaction, but he was so confident he would be able to get a big payment and half or all of the house. He will get some money from their savings, but nowhere near what he thought, and most of it will get eaten up by legal fees. He has been knocked down several pegs and completely screwed himself over. Am I the a-hole because I laughed? Was it like kicking him when he was down? He has no work history or money of his own to fall back on. I know it's been rough for him and he's struggling with what to tell my niece as well. It was almost an involuntary reaction because I just couldn't believe it. Now for the top comments. Was your brother a stay-at-home dad? Did they decide he would stay home, or was he lazy at mooching off her? He was definitely an a-hole for cheating, but if he gave up his job to take care of the kids, he does deserve something. Maybe not the house or a huge alimony, but it is a sacrifice to be a stay-at-home parent. He stayed home from when my niece was born. She graduated college in June and just turned 23. She lived at home until her college graduation. I agree with you, but the law is what the law is. I am torn on this. I am someone who has an inappropriate, reflexive laugh reaction to highly emotional news. It seriously sucks. However, uncontrollable or not, it does make already upset people feel worse. Also, he obviously messed up by cheating. That's a no-brainer. But, does he deserve to get nothing after staying home to raise his daughter in lieu of a paying job? I don't think so. I feel if the roles were reversed, much fewer folks would be saying he got what he deserved. Not the a-hole. He had a life where his wife provides the home and the income, and he decided to destroy it by cheating on his wife, and expected to walk away with her hard-earned money? Him pouting over the reality of having to deal with the consequences of his own stupidity is laughable. Not the a-hole. Cheaters deserve to be laughed at. Brother is realizing his side piece will leave once she learns he doesn't have any money. Lol. See? Laughing is a natural reaction to cheaters getting their just desserts. Reminds me of that one post where the guy cheated on his wife with, I think, a secretary, but his wife was the one with all the money. Ended up getting the side chick pregnant. Lost his wife and everything he had. Not even his daughters want anything to do with him. The wife later got remarried, and he tried to say she was probably having an affair with a dude because of how soon they got married after the divorce. Lol. Not the a-hole. It is funny. Hilarious, actually. He tried to screw his ex-wife over first. He thought he would get money and a house from her, but he fooled around and found out the hard way. Now he has nothing. Like he actually thought he could take her house, the house she had before they even got married. The entitlement that he has is astounding. I mean, a lot of people who browse the sub think that a partner should get partial ownership over their partner's house if they move in and help pay bills for a few months. It's not that far-fetched to believe that a future ex-husband in this story thought something similar would pass in real life. I agree though, it really is funny. Now for the next story. Am I the a-hole for embarrassing my husband? So I, 32 female, and my husband, 35 male, have been together for 8 years, married for 6. My husband has always talked about having kids, and we decided we were ready last year. After months of stress and no results, we went to a doctor and found out my husband is infertile. He's always deeply wanted to be a father, so this was a big deal to him. We took a few months to process, and he grieved the loss, understandably so. To my surprise, he suggested we go to a sperm bank. I was a little unsure if trying so soon would be a good idea, but he insisted that neither of us are getting younger, and he was completely okay with things. He's always been pretty blunt with his feelings, good or bad, so I thought it was alright. And at first it was. Then when we started looking through the book at the descriptions of the donors, and all of a sudden my husband's attitude changed. He demanded to see some samples of sperm from shorter men, because it's a man thing. And he apparently wouldn't be able to love someone else's son that's taller than him. living in his house. I stopped the appointment, and we got into a terrible fight on the way home. He apologized, saying he was just emotional, realizing it wouldn't really be a son, that the book made it seem real. We agreed to tentatively start the process again, but throughout the week, he made comments about how I might as well just cheat on him, and snide remarks about how my boss would be happy to put a baby in me if I ask. He even got jealous of my brother-in-law and made a very rude comment to him and my sister about how we could swap for a night and all get what we wanted. I shut the entire thing down after that, saying I didn't want to have kids with him when he was acting like this. Maybe never after that. With obligations to visit his family for a birthday dinner, we did. It was an alright if slightly cold evening, until his mother asked me to get him and a few others back inside. I wasn't surprised to find them complaining about me, but the subject matter shocked me. He told them our recent marital problems were because I was infertile due to my old age. I listened as he told his brother on and on about how he just wasn't sure if I was worth the effort, and maybe he should try to find someone younger while he still could. They joked about the women he could be sleeping with. It was crass, insulting, and deeply embarrassing. It also wasn't true. I was livid. I went back inside and grabbed the car keys, and when he asked why I was crying, I told everyone in the room, all adults, the truth. I left him there and ignored his calls. When he finally came home, we had the biggest argument of our lives about how I shared such a big insecurity and shamed him to his family. That his mother cried. I'm currently staying with my sister and I think our marriage may be irreparable. He says I humiliated him, and I know that I did. But he was perfectly fine lying to humiliate me and claiming he wanted to leave me. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. Your husband being infertile feels like karma in this case. Nature's way of telling this particular piece of work not to procreate. Do not have children or tie yourself down to this man any further, OP. The way he has treated you is beyond reprehensible. He deserved to be embarrassed, and honestly deserved much worse than he got. Projecting his own issues onto you publicly, and then making a joke about trading you in is so incredibly disrespectful. I can't imagine how this man would treat a child, or you, as normal life things happen over time. Illnesses, accidents, etc. Time to reconsider this relationship, I'd say. Not stay whole at all. I am pretty sure he would treat the baby from the sperm donor horribly and his wife even more. Yeah, as soon as he started saying he wouldn't be able to love someone else's son if they were taller than him, living in his house, it became clear that he would never actually see the child as his own and would resent them just for existing. I'm so glad that Opie recognized what a red flag that was and stopped the process right then and there, even if she ended up giving him another chance afterward. Hopefully she doesn't go back to him. Not the a-hole. Do you want to have a child with this man? When people show you who they are, believe them. Please don't have a child with this person. Opie did not humiliate her husband at all. She told people the truth, which exposed his lies. He only has himself to blame. What a complete and total a-hole. Not the a-hole. Let's review this wonderful man. 1. He's talking about cheating on you. 2. He's talking about leaving you. 3. He lied about a medical condition that you do not have. 4. He says all of the problems in the marriage are your fault. 5. He's insecure about tall men. 6. He's insecure about being infertile, making creepy jokes about you sleeping with your boss or brother-in-law. Why are you married to this person? Next story. Am I the a-hole for making my mother-in-law believe I was having an affair? I, 27 female, and my husband, 26 male, are big gaming addicts. Our parents hate that we played games, and we have got in multiple fights as children and adults over our hobby. It is a sore subject in our family, and we have opted to lie and say we are outside if anyone asks what we are doing. We both work from home, and right after work we proceeded to play games until midnight. None of us like leaving the house, so we are practically next to each other 95% of the time. There is no humanly possible way for either of us to cheat on one another. I am currently pregnant, and this has caused our in-laws to visit very frequently. Due to this increase in visits, we have reduced much of our gaming time for the better health of the baby, and so they do not see us gaming. We have gotten an argument about how our hobbies are unacceptable, childish, and that we needed to change. Sundays are known to everyone as the unavailable day. We always say we are on a date or something, but in reality, we are at home getting our weekly gaming quota covered. My husband went to a gaming cafe with friends Vising, and I stayed home last Sunday. Mother-in-law decided later to call me in the middle of a match, and I suppose I was acting very suspicious because I wanted to end the conversation ASAP. She asked what I was doing, and I replied automatically without thinking that I was on a date with my husband. According to my husband, she then later called him and he said that he was at a bar with friends. Mother-in-law decided to visit my house, where I was undoubtedly in the middle of another game. I avoided any phone calls and pretended to not hear the knocking until my match was over, 20 minutes or so. Afterwards, I answered the door and pretended that I was sleeping, which is why I wasn't answering the phone or door. Mother-in-law exploded at me, calling me a cheater, and that the child I was pregnant with was not her son's, because otherwise, why would I not answer the door? The idea that I would cheat, and that it would even be possible to cheat on my partner, was so hilarious to me that I burst out laughing, which angered mother-in-law even more. She continued to berate me while I just smiled, sitting there thinking how ridiculous all this was. When my husband came home, she berated me in front of him about how I was cheating on him. My husband was visibly confused the whole time and confirmed with his mother that there was no possible way for me to cheat on him. He explained how we are together practically every moment of the day, and when mother-in-law saw he was not getting on her side, she proceeded to get mad at me for leading her on. She called me an a-hole for pretending to have an affair and never correcting her before she told other people. Although I never clarified that I wasn't cheating, I do think that it was not her place to come unannounced and proclaim that I am a cheater. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Stop letting this damn woman through your front door. Not the a-hole, of course. OP, stop answering her calls ever. Grey rock her. Your husband plays interference with your mother-in-law from now on. You are completely unavailable to your mother-in-law. There was simply no reason for her to have this much access and this much of an opinion on your lives. Good riddance and happy gaming. Absolutely this. OP, we had a serious breakdown in our relationship with my in-laws, husband and me both, and now the dynamics are he fields any interaction. It's just safer and less messy. And honestly, it's his parents. We have a good relationship with mine, but I still field calls with them. They need to get off your backs. How is gaming worse than reading/watching TV, etc.? You are sitting for them all. At least with gaming and reading, your brain is actively working. Big boundaries are gonna be needed for you guys, unfortunately, once baby comes. I have a strong feeling your mother-in-law is going to go off the deep end for encroachment on your lives. Not the a-hole, and your mother-in-law sounds toxic. Your gaming is your business. You both need to tell your parents that is not their business and to keep their opinions on your gaming to themselves. And enforce it. If they start in on you for it on the phone, hang up. If they start when you're at their house, leave. If at your house, tell them to leave. You are adults. I agree. You also don't need to lie about what you are actually doing to win her approval. Who needs the approval of someone who blames everyone else but themselves? Completely agree that they should start acting like adults and stop letting other people dictate how they live their lives. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for speaking American Sign Language and not telling my boyfriend I know how to sign? My 25 female boyfriend, 26 male, is mad at me currently for not telling him I know American Sign Language and embarrassing him. I'm by no means fluent, but I took beginner classes in university. I study a people-facing field and figured it would be helpful. I can get by. I know basic conversational signs and things like how to get around places, locations, etc. It's enough to be helpful but not maintain a fluent conversation. We were at a train station and I had gone to the restroom while my boyfriend waited outside. Before I had gone in, I noticed an elderly couple looking at a map and signing. I didn't think much of it, but when I came back out, I could see my boyfriend trying to help them. I could sense some tension/frustration because he doesn't know ASL, and the couple was obviously lost and flustered. The woman started going through her purse for a pad of paper and had to start emptying her bag to get a pen. I walked up to them and started signing and let them know I could help. They were relieved, and I helped them find their correct route and where they needed to go. After the couple walked away, my boyfriend got mad and said I embarrassed him by not telling him I know ASL and interfering when he had it handled. I told him knowing ASL wasn't a secret, it just never came up. And it wasn't handled, as I could tell he was getting annoyed and the couple was flustered. He says I embarrassed him and showed him up. Am I the a-hole? Edited to add some details. We've been together for a little over 6 months and this is really the first time I've seen this behavior. I definitely realize now this is a red flag, and I guess we're coming out of that honeymoon stage now. To answer some questions, I'm not sure why the couple or my boyfriend didn't opt for using a smartphone. I guess he was flustered, and the couple clearly had plenty of belongings they were juggling. Not a-hole. The proper reaction is, no way. That's cool. Red flag on your boyfriend's ear-interfering reaction. Red flag on getting mad about an insignificant omission too. What an unpleasant person. And a further red flag that it makes being shown up in a minor way this poorly. You were genuinely helpful, and he took it like he lost his hero moment. Not the hole. Sounds like his ego was bruised. A man less threatened would have been grateful for your assistance. To say he was embarrassed over this interaction is ridiculous. If something so insignificant can annoy him that much, it makes you wonder what would happen if something truly embarrassing happened. Not the hole. Your boyfriend feels emasculated and undercut because you could do something he can't. Not just knowing the language, but the fact that you solved something he couldn't. I wouldn't go so far as to say that this is a red flag, because sometimes it's hard to control those emotions in the moment. And then, I'm sorry I shouldn't have acted that way becomes very hard to say. However, you should be on the lookout for similar situations in your relationship and get out if they become toxic. Small updates, I guess. He said he's had some time to cool off and he's glad I was able to help them. But he said he still felt embarrassed when I took over the situation and made him look incompetent. I'm planning to have a conversation about how this is a problem with his ego and not my skills. But depending on how that goes, maybe this is the end of it. Am I the a-hole for ruining Father's Day by telling my cousin the truth about why our fun uncle is not involved in her life? Currently, my Uncle John and Aunt Gia are married. But before that happened, Gia had been married to my Uncle Grant for 5 years. And Gia had been cheating on him with John. Uncle Grant was serving in the military for a lot of this time, so we didn't know until he returned home after an 8-month deployment to discover that Gia was already 3 months pregnant and she confessed everything. My grandparents sided with Uncle Grant at first, but after they learned that John was going to marry Gia for the baby, my cousin Zoe, they told Uncle Grant to think of what's best for the baby and forget John and Gia's cheating. Uncle Grant doesn't talk to them anymore, but kept in contact with my dad and our family. Uncle Grant also doesn't have a relationship with Zoe or her younger siblings, John Jr. and Emmy. He explained to me when I asked him as a teenager that he feels keeping his distance is the kindest thing, because he does feel resentment. And he knows it wouldn't be fair to Zoe to bring that kind of energy around her, which I understand. Since yesterday was Father's Day, me and my immediate family hung out with Uncle Grant in the morning and went to my grandparents' house in the evening for dinner. Zoe was at my grandparents' house with her parents and siblings, and she complimented my necklace and asked how I got it. I kept my response vague by saying, "Oh yeah, I got it as a birthday gift." And Zoe responded, "It was from Uncle Grant, isn't it?" Side note, Uncle Grant is the only one in our family who really has money, so I realize now how that would be obvious. I couldn't avoid it anymore without lying since Zoe asked directly, so I told her yes. Zoe got angry, saying that she knows from her parents that me and my brother constantly do fun stuff and get nice things from Uncle Grant. And she demanded to know why she and her siblings have never gotten that same treatment from him. Zoe then made a nasty accusation as to why Uncle Grant only treats me and my brother the way he does. At that point, I pulled Zoe into a private room and offered to tell her the truth, but warned her that her parents did some bad things, and knowing would probably change the way she looks at them. Zoe still insisted on knowing, so I told her what happened in as unbiased a way as possible. Obviously, Zoe was shocked and upset. She ended up getting into an argument with her parents and they went home early. Several different family members called me after, and apparently it's a crap show at John and Gia's house. Zoe wants to stay with our grandparents and is giving her own parents the cold shoulder. John Jr. is suspicious and asking questions, and Emmy is upset/confused because Zoe and her parents were all pretty close before. Only my parents, brother, and Uncle Grant have my back. All the other adults in the family said I ruined Father's Day and should have left the past in the past. But Zoe will be 18 in August and demanded the truth, and I felt she has a right to know. Am I the a-hole? Added for clarification, Uncle Grant, John, and my dad are all biological brothers. Gia has no biological relation to me. Now for the top comments. Not a-hole. She asked a question. You warned her she might not like the answer, and she still insisted. All you did was tell the truth. At 17, she deserves to know the truth. John and Gia are just facing the consequences of their cheating, and the family members giving you crap about this are probably the ones who insisted on hiding Gia's cheating. Edited to add, Holy smokes. I just saw the edit that John is the biological brother of Grant. So Gia cheated on Grant with his brother. This just got so much worse. This just reaffirms my stance that you are super not the a-hole. But John and Gia? Screw them. They're huge a-holes. I can totally understand Grant keeping his distance because John just carpet bombed that relationship with his brother. My God, his own brother? Definitely not the a-hole, OP. Not at all. Good luck dealing with this. Not a-hole. Zoe then made a nasty accusation as to why Uncle Grant only treats me and my brother the way he does. This is something that had to be stopped before rumors started flying around and Grant's character was assassinated. Anyone who can make references to grooming and exploitation of children out of pure rank jealousy can be told, hey, you're an affair baby, and our uncle doesn't like you nor wants to be around you because of your mother and father's betrayal of him. It's not like Zoe's some innocent 8-year-old. She has awareness of dark family stuff. Her dark family stuff isn't even as dark as what she was accusing Uncle Grant of. If she is happy to spout one as an untruth, she can cope with the other as hard facts. People have had lives ruined for that kind of stuff. Poor Uncle Grant is just trying to enjoy the family he has left. It wasn't that kind of accusation. Zoe accused Uncle Grant of being closer to me and my brother because we have lighter skin than Zoe and her siblings, which, as I said, is still a nasty and completely untrue accusation. Next story. Am I the a-hole for not wanting to talk to my dad even though he got mental help, and then making him cry for telling the truth on his birthday? My dad used to be abusive. It got so bad that my mom and him lost custody of us. My grandparents adopted all 5 of us, and my mom left my dad after getting an ultimatum from my grandparents, and life just kind of went on. Fast forward to today, 13 years later. I am 25 and I'm disappointed to say that my grandparents died and my mom went back to my dad. All of my siblings also reconnected with him and say he changed completely, although most are not close to him. From what I heard, after losing his family, he finally got mental help and was diagnosed with severe PTSD as an army vet and bipolar disorder. He spent the better part of a decade getting professional help and looks like it worked. Now my brother and mom are guilt-tripping me into talking to him. They constantly tell me how he was mentally unwell and to give him a second chance since he misses me and wants to make things right. But I really don't want to. I'm glad everyone's happy, but I just don't want to put myself through all that. I have lived 13 years without him. I don't want to have any contact with him ever again. I live on my own, so they can't do anything about it, really. They are basically saying that he wants to be absolved of his past, and by not wanting to talk to him and living in the past, I'm making an old man's life miserable, since his sins are following him. They keep saying he just wants to hear my voice. I still ain't budging because I feel like he gave away that right a long time ago. Recently, it was my dad's 70th birthday and they invited me. I said no, but apparently they made up some convoluted story that I was on a vacation abroad and sent a photo of me and my boyfriend with a text saying, "Happy 70th birthday, Dad. Love, Opie," to my dad. Apparently, he loved it and started brainstorming ideas where to meet with me to talk after I get back from my trip. My sister was present and texted me what had happened. I got so mad that I called my brother and told him to put me on speaker and told everyone at the birthday that I didn't send that message and don't want to have anything to do with my father, and then hung up. I got missed calls from my brother and later text calling me heartless and asking me if I'm proud of myself for making a 70-year-old man cry on his birthday. He also called me vindictive and childish for living in the past. I said what my wishes were and that they didn't respect them. They made him cry, not me. But now all my extended relatives think I'm a huge witch, even though the rest of my siblings support me. So I don't know what to make out of all of this. I just want my wishes to be respected, and I don't think him getting therapy really can wipe away mistreating his family for over 2 decades. Not a-hole. This is on them. This is their screw up, not yours. 100%. They think OP is cruel. They're the ones demanding a victim play nice to their abuser and getting the old man's hopes up in some sort of sick, weird attempt to manipulate and guilt the victim into it when they set clear boundaries. Actions have consequences. If this man is truly holding himself accountable for the harm he caused, he would not expect anything from OP. And we don't have his side. But if he actually respected OP's wishes and was willing to respect her space, and these people got his hopes up anyway, holy Christ, that's so awful. Honestly, sounds as if OP not speaking to him is an uncomfortable reminder of the past for them. Can't think of any other reason for them to be hounding you like this. Well, OP isn't responsible for their feelings about their relationship with him. One of the big things that helped me make peace with my dad is that when I took him to therapy and said everything I needed to say, he just accepted it was his fault and said he was sorry. I had been so scared that he would get defensive because the harm had occurred years ago, or because he'd got in therapy and changed, but he never invalidated any of my feelings. I think that showed me that he really had changed, and that he truly did want to work things out and move on. Had he put up a wall or tried to direct the conversation, I might not be talking to him anymore today. Hey, you had to live through his PTSD. Now they can live with yours. Seriously, a parent's mental illness can have devastating effects on the minds of children. I hope you're in therapy. Next story. Am I the a-hole for not inviting my daughter to my wedding? I, 47, have been low contact with my daughter Noelle for 3 years at this point. I went low contact with her. There is a lot that happens. But my last straw was when she was 23, she stole my credit card and racked up close to $4,000. There was a lot more to it, but that was my last straw. Anyways, I'm getting married. I've been with him for 10 years and we are doing a very small gathering with my 2 other kids, his kids, and my grandma. So a total of 8 people. Noelle is better now, got her life together, and we are talking more often. But I didn't invite her. I don't trust her not to pull a stunt at the wedding. It got back to her and she got angry. Long arguments on both sides, and in the end, she called me an ass. My kids are divided on this issue, so I want an outside opinion. Thank you for everyone's comments. I think I'm fine if this ends my relationship with her. If she wants to cut contact since I'm not healed enough or trust her enough after all she did, then it's on her. It's been 3 years of low contact, and my life has been better. I don't think no contact would change any of that. Now for the top comments. Has she apologized or made amends or done anything that acknowledges how much trouble she caused? Or is it more like she slid back into your life with, hey, I'm better now? It's more sliding back and going, I'm better now for me. If I try to bring up the past, it's a lot of changing the subject. I know she apologized to her sister, but it didn't end well. Did she steal her sister's credit card too? Basically try to steal her boyfriend. She set her sister up on multiple blind dates, harassed her, sent explicit texts to her boyfriend. When that didn't work, she went over to her boyfriend's house, and the cops were called on her when he turned her down and she wouldn't leave. He broke up with my other daughter since he didn't want to deal with Noelle. Not a-hole. She broke your trust and has to work to rebuild your trust before you can fully invite her back into your life. Reading OP's comments, her daughter has a lot to make up for to the whole family. She stole and sold grandma's jewelry given to grandma from her dead husband. Everyone should read the comments. She did some crafty stuff. No a-holes here, at least not now. Do understand though that not inviting her to your wedding will be taken as a decision not to have a relationship with her. That's a decision you're free to make, but you can't expect her not to be hurt and angry about it. OP's comment history indicates that daughter has bad blood with all but one person who will be in attendance, and has a history of trying to start fights. I can understand why you wouldn't want to risk it on your wedding day. Not the a-hole. Last story. Am I the a-hole for agreeing to take my niece on holiday but not her stepsister? This concerns my daughter Maddie, my brother Jason's daughter Bella, and his wife Tracy's daughter Sarah. All 3 girls are 11 and go to the same school. Bella and Maddie have always been close. So close that our family jokingly calls them the twins. They do the same extracurriculars at school and often have sleepovers, etc. I wasn't really surprised that when I picked the 2 girls up a few days ago, Maddie asked if we could have Bella come traveling with us for the summer. We always go away for pretty much the whole summer, and this year will be to 3 countries in continental Europe. I had no problem with Bella coming along, so said I would talk to Jason about it. We agreed that Bella could come. Jason and his ex would cover the cost of her flights, a subsidized contribution to accommodation, and give her a credit card for any expenses. Obviously, I will pay for most things, but this is for souvenirs or emergencies. The girls are thrilled. Over the weekend, I got a call from Tracy who is upset that I didn't invite Sarah on the trip. She said it was cruel of me to not offer to take Sarah as well, since I know she has trouble socially at school as well as trouble getting along with Bella. She said me not inviting Sarah on the trip showed that we didn't think of her as family. Tracy said Sarah's devastated over this. I explained that I didn't invite anyone on this trip. Maddie did. To me, her inviting Bella is like her inviting a friend. It's not a family trip. The girls are just also friends. Jason is now getting pressure from Tracy not to let Bella go on the trip if Sarah isn't going. And he says he does see the point about it being unfair and exclusionary. His ex is now arguing, saying Bella should go anyway. And I agree. I think not allowing Bella to go because of Sarah is going to cause more problems between them. Jason asked if I would consider bringing Sarah on the trip as well, and I said no. This is my holiday too, and I don't want to spend it refereeing bickering between girls who are forced to spend time together. I also don't want to be footing the bill for Sarah's trip, as Tracy has a long history of not giving Sarah a reasonable amount of money to do things, and expecting whoever is around to just make up the difference. I would feel bad if Bella doesn't get to come because of this, but I don't think it's fair to anyone to take Sarah on this trip. Not a-hole. My family is structured similarly to yours, and I understand your justifications 100%. Even if the verdict makes us both exclusionary a-holes, know that I feel your pain. Agreed, and honestly, why not do something with Sarah themselves, as in Tracy and Jason? Forcing Bella to skip the trip will just throw gasoline on the fire of the issues between Sarah and Bella. Yes, have them do the messy work of parenting a disappointed kid, and maybe help her learn some things. Tracy's doing well at ensuring the girls get along even less well. Does she think her daughter will have a good time playing third wheel to two girls who don't want her there? It is not Bella's job to make up for her stepsister's social awkwardness. As her mom, Tracy should be encouraging her in activities she enjoys and finding friends that way, not a-hole. I'm curious what Tracy would do if it was a non-related close friend asking Bella to accompany their family on a European vacation, provided they know and trust the family well. Would she also try to insist this family, who essentially has no real relationship with Sarah, bring her on their months-long trip? Or deprive her stepdaughter from a once-in-a-lifetime experience for the sake of fairness? Not a-hole. You nailed it with our family jokingly calls them the twins. Sorry, Tracy. Their relationship was established deep long ago, and you being the way you are does not help.